That is Wes Montgomery soloing over Autumn Leaves. Listen again. That is not a scale he is running. That is the melody of the tune moving. Here is what nobody tells you. You can learn the tune. You can even play the chord melody. Then you go to solo and you freeze. You do not know where to go on the neck, so you fall back on the same scale shape and hope. A solo is not a scale, it is path, and Wes's path was never random. He is tracing the chord melody of the tune right up the fretboard. See the exact route he works, and you stop guessing. You walk it yourself in your own language. Hi, I'm Junwon Choi. I grew up in South Korea. No jazz scene, a total outsider. Everything I know, I learned at Berklee College of Music from my mentor, Richie Hart. The day he stopped feeding me licks and showed me where Wes actually travels on the neck, how the whole solo comes straight out of the chord melody. Every scale I'd memorized finally turned into music. That is the apprenticeship I teach. The way it was passed down, not from a textbook. So, give me a few minutes, I will give you the three things. Why the chord melody is the map, where a Wes solo actually comes from, how to trace the exact path he walks across the neck so it lands in your hand, not just mine, where to get his solos over these standards note for notes, and at the end I will point you back to where these three tunes come from, so you are soloing on solid ground. So let me show you where it comes. So I played the chord melody. So over here, the G minor to the C7. The beginning of this tune, by the way, this is an unreleased recording of Wes Montgomery, and I got this recording from my mentor, Richie Hart, to study, and I got the transcription by myself, and I put it in the lecture so you can learn how Wes plays this classic jazz standard tune. So he plays in key of D minor, and the first chord is G minor. He picked that tune because over here, that G minor, the Wes line, is his favorite position. Like the 4 and 6 is on this key as well. Right? And that Wes line I just played, he played that line very beginning of the solo. And that G minor to the C7, that comes back at the end of the first 8 major section, which landed on to the D minor. We have minor 2 5, the E minor 7 flat 5 go to the A7 to the D minor. Right there, the beginning of the tune, the phrase comes from there. So the E minor 7 flat 5, right there, the melody goes. So the melody lands on the F. and his line ends on F octave lower. And the melody, the chord melody is this, but he is singing this chord structure, which is his Wes line. This half step, that is this E minor 7 going to the diminish to make A7 flat 9 sound. So in his line, it is clearly make that voice leading as well. Right? And then he is looking at this voicing, which is over here B flat minor over A. So that is his line. So, knowing the melody and the chord structure to support that melody, that's it. That is what Wes was using to navigate the tune on the fretboard. He does not really trying to play guitar. He has the famous interview that when he went to the Europe, he had invited by a guitar player over there and like a downbeat magazine in Europe, and they get together and they ask a question to the Wes, and Wes said to the interviewee on the TV that he said their conclusion is they see Wes as not a guitarist. For them, Wes was not a guitarist. And I 100% agree that. And then what they said, Wes used the guitar. So Wes knew the music. Wes knew what he wanted to play before he learning the guitar. So what he is doing actually is, Buddy Montgomery, his brother. By the way, he's a pianist, right? And then piano and the guitar. The more and more I think and I get to know is the way Wes play on the fretboard is like a pianist playing on the piano. Because everything you play them together, that becomes a chord voicings or chord solo. If you want to play just scattered and move by moving your finger through those voicings, which is on the piano, don't play all the notes at the same time. That is voicing. You just play arpeggiate or add notes in between those voicings. That becomes a scale, or that becomes the line. So, knowing the chords, knowing the melody is the first. And then know the chord voicing that support the melody. That is all you need to know, especially in this diatonic circle of motion tune. Like I said, all the things you are, autumn leaves and fly me to the moon, those three tunes, what you really need to know is the chord melody, and there is your solo materials. Over here, that is the chord voicing sound, but that melody, right? Did you see that I played as the Wes was playing it? But I didn't really play that many notes, but I went with right? Wes played. But I played. That is how you make your own solo once you know what Wes was playing over those at the moment, what he was hearing on the tune, that melody, how he played the melody at the beginning of the tune, that gives you all the clue that where Wes is playing his line, his solo over the tune. So the solo just traced the chord melody straight up the neck, not log a path. That is exactly what Wes Insight hands you over these tunes, not for notes. Note for notes. If you want Wes's solos over these standards, the way he actually played them, traced from the chord melody, note for note, ready to make your own, that is Wes's Insight. Fly Me to the Moon and All the Things You Are. I will put the link below, and the Autumn Leaves comes with the bundle only. And tell me below which standard should I trace a Wes solo on next. I read everyone. Yours might be the next video. So until next time, keep swinging.